The laughter in the restaurant suddenly stops, not because the music ends, but because something feels wrong. Martha Stanley is smiling one second and uneasy the next. Men in black suits quietly line the walls. The room goes silent. Then he walks in. Sung Jae, the Korean Mafia boss everyone fears. His eyes lock on Martha sitting with another man. His voice is calm, dangerous calm. Who is he? Before this explodes. If you enjoy intense Korean stories like this, don't just watch and disappear. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. These stories drop fast. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I really read them. Don't be the one who comes back later wishing you had subscribed. All right, back to the story before Sung Jae flips that entire table. Martha has worked for Sung Jae for 3 years. She knows his rules, his temper, his power. She has always stayed in her place. His secretary, nothing more. Tonight was supposed to be harmless. One dinner, one ordinary man, one night away from danger. But Sung Jae doesn't share what belongs to him. And the moment he sees Martha with another man, everything changes. Martha's hands won't stop shaking. She's gripping the steering wheel so tight her knuckles have gone pale, and she hasn't even pulled into the parking garage yet. All night she rehearsed what she'd say to him, practiced her tone, her boundaries, her resignation speech if it came to that. But now, sitting in her car at 6:47 a.m. on a Monday morning in Seoul, every word she planned feels like it's dissolving in her throat. Because here's what she knows about Sung Jae. When he yells, "You're safe." When he goes quiet, that's when people disappear. She takes the elevator to the 43rd floor. Her floor, his floor, the executive suite where she spent 3 years perfecting the art of being invisible. The doors slide open and everything looks exactly the same. Same marble floors, same glass walls, same perfectly arranged orchids that someone replaces every Monday without her ever seeing who does it. Normal. Everything is aggressively, suspiciously normal. Martha walks to her desk and sets down her bag. Her computer hums to life. Her coffee from the lobby sits exactly where she left it Friday. It's like last night never happened. Like Sung Jae didn't stand on a restaurant table and demand to know who she was with. Like he didn't make a man she barely knew practically sprint out of that restaurant in terror. She's staring at her screen, not really seeing it, when she hears his office door open. Her spine goes rigid. Sung Jae walks out in one of his perfectly tailored black suits, phone pressed to his ear, speaking rapid Korean to someone who sounds nervous on the other end. He doesn't look at her, doesn't acknowledge her, just walks past her desk like she's part of the furniture and heads toward the conference room, still talking, still moving. Martha sits there, frozen, waiting for something. Anything. Nothing comes. At 9:15, he buzzes her intercom. Coffee, the usual. That's it. No, good morning. No, we need to talk. Just coffee. She makes it the way he likes it. Black, 2 sugars. She's made this coffee 1,000 times, but today her hands shake so badly she has to redo it twice because she keeps spilling. When she finally brings it into his office, he's on another call, gesturing at spreadsheets on his monitor. He takes the coffee without looking up, nods once, dismisses her with a slight wave of his hand. Martha backs out of the office and closes the door. And that's how the whole morning goes. He's busy, meetings back to back, conference calls in 3 languages. She takes notes, she schedules, she coordinates, she does her job exactly like she's always done it. And he treats her exactly like he's always treated her. Professional, distant, perfectly polite. It's driving her absolutely insane. By noon, Martha's anger is a living thing crawling under her skin. She wants him to yell at her. She wants him to demand answers. She wants something that acknowledges what he did, how he humiliated her, how he has no right to act like he owns her personal life. Instead, at 12:30, he sends her an email. Not a conversation. An email. Lunch meeting canceled. Order something for the office. Thank you. Thank you. Like she's a stranger, like last night didn't happen. Martha orders his usual bibimbap from the place 2 blocks over. When it arrives, she brings it to his office and sets it on his desk. He's reading something on his tablet, and for the first time all day, he looks up at her. Their eyes meet. And there it is, just for a second, something dark and possessive and absolutely furious flickering behind that calm exterior. His jaw tightens. His fingers go still on the tablet. He looks at her like he's trying to decide something, like he's holding himself back from saying the thing he really wants to say. Martha's heart is hammering. Will that be all, Mr. Kang? She uses his last name. She never uses his last name. It's been Sung Jae in private for 2 years now, a small intimacy she never thought about until this exact moment when she's taking it away. Something shifts in his expression. His eyes narrow just slightly. That will be all, Ms. Stanley. Ms. Stanley. He's never called her that in his life. She turns to leave, and his voice stops her at the door. Quiet, controlled, lethal. Martha. She doesn't turn around. Yes? Cancel my evening appointments. Her stomach drops. All of them? All of them. She keeps her voice steady. May I ask why? The silence stretches so long she almost thinks he won't answer. Then he does, and his voice is so soft it makes her blood run cold. Because you and I are going to have a conversation, and it's going to take a while. Martha walks out of his office, closes the door, sits down at her desk, and realizes something terrifying. She has no idea which Sung Jae is going to show up tonight. The boss. Or the man who thinks she belongs to him. Martha's coffee tastes like ash that morning. She's barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Sung Jae's face in that restaurant. Calm, cold, and something else she can't name. Possessive. Like she'd betrayed him somehow, even though they're nothing to each other. Nothing but boss and secretary. Nothing but 3 years of careful distance and unspoken rules. She tells herself it doesn't matter. She tells herself he'll forget about it by Monday. She's wrong. The office feels different when she walks in. There's a man sitting at the conference table, laughing on the phone in perfect English with just a hint of a Seoul accent. He's younger than Sung Jae, maybe late 20s, with an easy smile and designer glasses that probably cost more than her rent. He looks up when she enters, and his whole face lights up like they're old friends. You must be Martha, he says, standing up and extending his hand. I've heard so much about you. I'm Min Jae. She shakes his hand, because what else can she do? His grip is warm, confident, nothing like Sung Jae's calculating touch. I wasn't told we were expecting anyone today. Last-minute thing, Min Jae says with an apologetic shrug. My brother's dealing with some family business back in Busan. He asked me to step in for a few weeks, just temporary help while he's sorting things out. Brother. The word lands like a stone in her stomach. Sung Jae didn't mention it, Martha says carefully. He probably didn't have time. Min Jae's smile doesn't waver. You know how he is. All business, no small talk. Anyway, I'm here to make your life easier, not harder. Think of me as an extra set of hands. But that's not what happens. By 10 a.m., Min Jae has reorganized the morning briefing schedule. By 11, he's taken the client call she's been preparing for all week. By noon, he's in Sung Jae's office. Sung Jae's private office where Martha's the only one allowed without knocking, laughing about something she can't hear. She tells herself it's fine. Temporary help, that's all. But when she brings the contract files to Sung Jae's office at 2 p.m., like she does every single day, Min Jae's already there. The documents are spread across the desk, and he's explaining something about offshore accounts with the kind of easy authority that makes her feel invisible. Sung Jae doesn't even look up. Leave them on the side table, Martha, he says, his voice flat and distant, like she's a stranger, like Friday night never happened. She sets the files down. Her hands don't shake. She won't let them. Will you need anything else? she asks. Min-jae's handling it. 4 words. That's all she gets. She walks out and closes the door behind her, and she hates that it feels like being dismissed from her own life. The next day is worse. Min-jae arrives before she does, which shouldn't be possible because she's always the first one in the building, and he's already made coffee. Not just any coffee. The specific dark roast Sungjae likes, brewed exactly the way he takes it. In the mug Martha bought him last Christmas. "Morning," Min-jae says brightly. "I figured I'd get a head start. Hope you don't mind." She minds. She minds so much it feels like her chest is cracking open. But she smiles and says, "Of course not." By Wednesday, Min-jae's taken over the weekly reports. By Thursday, he's attending the executive meetings she used to lead. By Friday, her desk has been moved. Not far, just 10 feet to the left, away from Sungjae's office door, and closer to the hallway where the junior staff sit. "More space for collaboration," the office manager explains with an apologetic smile. Martha doesn't argue. She just unpacks her things in the new spot and pretends her hands aren't shaking. That afternoon, she watches through the glass as Min-jae hands Sungjae a stack of papers. Sungjae nods, says something that makes Min-jae laugh, and claps him on the shoulder. It's the most relaxed she's seen Sungjae in months, maybe ever. She turns back to her computer screen and blinks hard. She's being erased, slowly, carefully, like someone's deleting her line by line from a document. And the worst part? Min-jae's good at her job. Better maybe, faster. He knows things about the business she's never been told, moves through Sungjae's world like he was born there. Maybe he was. Maybe that's the point. At 6 p.m., when the office is nearly empty, Martha's packing up her bag when she hears voices from the private elevator. The one that goes directly to Sungjae's penthouse. The doors are cracked open, and she shouldn't listen. She knows she shouldn't. But she does. "How much longer are we doing this?" Min-jae's voice, casual and amused. A pause, then Sungjae, low and deliberate, "Until she understands." Understands what? Another pause, longer this time. "That she's mine." The elevator doors close, and the voices disappear. Martha stands frozen in the empty office, her bag slipping from her shoulder to the floor. This wasn't temporary help, this was a test, and she's failing. Martha notices it on a Tuesday. Min-jae is sitting in her chair, not just near her desk, in her actual chair, the one she's sat in every morning for 3 years, the one with the slight wobble on the left side that she's learned to balance without thinking. He's leaning back like he owns it, scrolling through her computer, and when she walks in, he doesn't even look up. "Morning briefing's at 9, he says casually. "Sungjae wants me to handle it today." Martha stops. Her coffee burns her hand through the cup, but she doesn't move. "Handle it?" "Yeah." Min-jae finally glances at her, and his smile is friendly. Too friendly. "He said something about giving you a lighter load, thought you could use the break." A lighter load. The words sit in her chest like stones. She's never needed a break, never asked for one, and Sungjae knows that. "Right," Martha says slowly. She sets her coffee down on the edge of the desk, her desk, and tries to keep her voice steady. "Where should I—" "Oh, he moved some of your files." Min-jae gestures vaguely toward a smaller desk near the window. It's the one they use for interns, for people who don't matter. "Just temporarily, while we reorganize the workflow." Reorganize the workflow. Martha looks at the intern desk, then at Min-jae in her chair. Then at the closed door to Sungjae's office, where she can see his shadow moving behind the frosted glass. He hasn't called for her once this morning. She tells herself it's fine, it's one day. People shuffle responsibilities all the time. This is a business. Things change. But when 9 o'clock comes and Min-jae walks into that morning briefing, the one Martha has led for 3 years, the one where she hands Sungjae his schedule and his coffee and reminds him about the calls he pretends to forget, she feels something crack inside her chest. She watches through the glass. Min-jae is talking, Sung-jae is listening, nodding, almost smiling. Sung-jae never smiles in morning briefings. By Wednesday, Min-jae has reorganized her files. All of them. The system she spent months perfecting. The color-coded folders. The notes she kept on Sung-jae's preferences. Gone. Replaced with something more efficient, Min-jae says. You don't mind, do you? He asks, and his tone is so polite it makes her want to scream. She does mind. She minds so much her hands are shaking. But what is she supposed to say? That she's territorial over file folders? That she's upset a younger, faster assistant is doing her job better? It's fine, Martha lies. Thursday, she watches Min-jae take her seat in the conference room. The one next to Sung-jae's right hand. The one she sat in for every meeting, every negotiation, every tense conversation where Sung-jae needed someone he could trust at his side. Min-jae sits there now, and Sung-jae doesn't correct him. Martha ends up 3 seats down, between 2 junior analysts who don't look at her. She might as well be invisible. She keeps waiting for Sung-jae to glance her way, to acknowledge her, to give her that look he always gives her when someone says something stupid in a meeting, that tiny flicker of eye contact that says, "Can you believe this?" But he doesn't look at her. Not once. His attention is on Min-jae, who's presenting some report Martha didn't even know existed, and Sung-jae is nodding along like this is exactly what he wanted. When the meeting ends, Martha tries to catch him. Sung-jae. Not now, he says without stopping. Min-jae, my office. And just like that, she's dismissed. By Friday, Martha is paranoid. She knows she is. But she can't stop watching, can't stop cataloging every small exclusion, every moment where Min-jae steps in and she steps back. It's like she's being erased in slow motion, one task at a time. And nobody seems to notice. Or worse, nobody cares. She stays late that night. She tells herself it's because she has work to finish, but really, she just wants to see if Sung-jae will notice she's still there. If he'll stop by her desk like he used to, late at night when the office was quiet, and ask her something that had nothing to do with work. What are you still doing here, Martha? Don't you have a life? But when the elevator dings at 7:30, it's Min-jae who steps out, not Sung-jae. Min-jae sees her and grins. Still here? You know, you really should take it easy. Sung-jae's worried you're burning out. Martha's stomach twists. He said that? Not in so many words. Min-jae shrugs. But you know how he is. He cares about his people. His people. Like she's just another employee. Like 3 years of late nights and unspoken understanding mean nothing. Min-jae grabs something from the desk, her desk, and heads back to the elevator. But just before the doors close, he turns back. Oh, and Martha? His smile doesn't quite reach his eyes. Sung-jae wanted me to let you know. You can take Monday off. He thinks you need a break. The elevator doors slide shut, and Martha realizes, with cold, creeping certainty, that this isn't temporary. She's being replaced. Martha told herself she was staying late to finish the quarterly reports. That's what she wrote in the sign-out log. That's what she'd tell anyone who asked. But the truth? The truth was, she couldn't go home to her empty apartment and pretend everything was fine. Pretend her boss hadn't replaced her with his charming younger brother. Pretend she hadn't spent 3 years building something, even if that something was just a job, just professional respect, only to watch it dissolve like sugar in rain. The office was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of silence that makes you hear your own heartbeat. Martha sat at her desk, well, her old desk, the one they'd moved to the back corner near the supply closet, and stared at spreadsheets she'd already finished an hour ago. She was pathetic. She knew it. Sitting here in the dark like some abandoned dog waiting for her owner to notice she still existed. She should leave, go home, have some dignity. But then she heard it. Voices, coming from Sung-jae's office down the hall. Martha's fingers froze on her keyboard. The office was supposed to be empty. Security did their rounds at 9. It was nearly 10:30. She stood slowly, her heels in her hand because she'd taken them off hours ago, and moved toward the sound. Not because she was nosy, not because she was trying to eavesdrop, but because, okay, fine, she was absolutely trying to eavesdrop. The door to Sungjae's office was cracked open, just barely, a sliver of golden light cutting across the dark hallway. Martha pressed herself against the wall, her heart hammering so loud she was sure they'd hear it. Min-jae's voice came first, casual, almost bored. "How long are we doing this?" Silence, the kind that feels heavy. Then Sungjae, his voice low and controlled, the way it always was, the way it got when he was talking to people who owed him money or loyalty or fear. "Until she understands." Martha's stomach dropped. Her blood went cold, actually cold, like someone had injected ice water straight into her veins. She pressed her hand against the wall to steady herself. "Understands what?" Min-jae asked. There was a sound, ice clinking in a glass. Someone was drinking, probably Sungjae. He always kept whiskey in his office. "That she can't just walk away." Sungjae's voice was quiet, deadly quiet. The kind of quiet that came before violence. "That she can't decide one day she wants a normal life with some ordinary man and pretend I don't exist." Martha stopped breathing. She physically could not make her lungs work. "Hyung." Min-jae's voice softened. That word, Hyung, older brother. So they really were family. Martha had suspected it, had pieced it together from overheard comments and the way they moved around each other. But hearing it confirmed still felt like a punch. "You know this is insane, right? You're punishing her for going on one date, with a guy she'll probably never see again." "That's not the point," Sungjae's voice sharpened. "The point is she thought she could. She thought I wouldn't care. 3 years, Min-jae. 3 years she's been right here. Every morning, every late night, every business dinner and threat and negotiation. She's seen things that would make most people run screaming. And she stayed. Do you know why?" Silence. Martha leaned closer, her ear almost touching the doorframe. "Because she feels it too," Sungjae continued. His voice dropped even lower, and Martha had to strain to hear. "She feels this thing between us. She knows. And the fact that she went out with that man anyway? That's not her trying to move on. That's her running scared. And I don't reward fear. I fix it." "By making her jealous?" Min-jae let out a short laugh. "By making her think she's being replaced? Hyung, that's not fixing anything. That's just making it worse." "Is it?" Sungjae asked. "Because from where I'm standing, she's stayed every night this week. She hasn't quit. She hasn't confronted me. She's waiting. She's watching. She wants to see what I'll do. She wants to know if I care." Martha's hand covered her mouth. Oh God, he was right. He was completely right, and she hated him for it. Hated him for seeing through her so clearly when she couldn't even see through herself. "And when she finally breaks?" Min-jae asked. "When she storms in here and demands answers, what then?" "Then I'll tell her the truth." Sungjae's chair creaked. He was standing up, moving. Martha's eyes went wide. She needed to leave. Now. "I'll tell her she's mine, that she's always been mine, and that every man who looks at her, every man who touches her, every man who thinks he has a chance," his voice went so cold it could freeze fire, "is making a mistake he won't live to regret." Martha's heart stopped. Actually stopped. She turned and ran. Not walked. Ran. Down the hallway in her bare feet, grabbed her purse, her coat, didn't even close her desk drawer. She stabbed the elevator button 5 times, 6 times, her hands shaking so badly she could barely hold her phone. The elevator dinged, the doors opened, and Sungjae was standing inside. Martha doesn't sleep. She lies in her apartment staring at the ceiling, replaying that conversation she overheard on a loop. "How long are we doing this?" Until she understands. Understands what? That she's disposable? That 3 years of loyalty means nothing? That Sungjae can just erase her whenever he feels like it? No. She gets up at 4 a.m., showers in the dark, puts on the same green blouse she wore that night at the restaurant, the night this whole nightmare started. She doesn't know why. Maybe because it feels like armor. Maybe because she wants him to remember what he destroyed. By 5:45 a.m., she's standing outside his building. The city is still asleep. Street cleaners, a few taxis, nobody else. She uses her key card, the one he gave her 2 years ago, the one that gets her into places most employees can't go. The elevator ride to the executive floor feels longer than usual. Her reflection in the mirrored walls looks calm, composed, like she's going to a normal morning meeting. She's a liar too, apparently. The lights in Sungjae's office are already on. Of course they are. The man doesn't sleep either. She's known that for 3 years. She's brought him coffee at 2 a.m., stayed late to finish reports he needed by dawn. She knows his insomnia, his perfectionism, the way he paces when he's thinking. She knows him. Or she thought she did. Martha pushes open the door without knocking. Sungjae is at his desk, tie loose, shirt sleeves rolled up, papers scattered everywhere. He looks up, and for just a second, something flickers across his face. Surprise? Relief? She can't tell. Doesn't care. Martha. His voice is careful. Too careful. You're early. I know Min-jae is your brother. She says it flat. No emotion, no wobble in her voice. I know this was a game. I quit. The silence that follows is suffocating. Sungjae stands slowly. His hands press flat against the desk, like he's steadying himself. I don't what, Sungjae? Now her voice cracks. Just a little. Enough that she hates herself for it. I don't understand. I don't know what you did. You brought your brother into this office to replace me, to make me feel invisible, to punish me for, what? Going on one date? Having a life outside of you? It wasn't. He stops, jaw tight, eyes darker than she's ever seen them. It wasn't supposed to hurt you. Martha laughs. It's a bitter, ugly sound. Then what was it supposed to do? Teach me a lesson? Make me jealous? Make me realize I should have asked your permission before having dinner with someone? I saw you with him. Sungjae's voice drops to something raw, something almost vulnerable. I walked into that restaurant and I saw you laughing. Like you didn't spend every day in my world. Like you could just leave. I can leave, Sungjae. That's what you don't understand. I'm not... She stops herself, takes a breath. I'm your secretary, not your property. You think I don't know that? He moves around the desk now, closing the distance between them. Not threatening, just desperate. You think I wanted to feel this way? I spent 3 years keeping you at a distance because I knew the second I let you in, I'd lose control. And then I saw you with him and You what? Martha's voice is shaking now. You decided to manipulate me? To play games? To make me doubt myself? I wanted you to feel what I've been feeling. The words explode out of him. His composure, that legendary, terrifying composure, finally shatters. Every day, every single day watching you smile, hearing you laugh, knowing you'd go home to some normal life and I'd still be here, surrounded by blood and lies and... He stops, runs a hand through his hair. I wanted you to care, even if it was just jealousy, even if you hated me for it. I just needed you to feel something. Martha stares at him. This man, this dangerous, powerful, untouchable man who's currently falling apart in front of her. And God help her, she does feel something. Anger, hurt, and underneath it all, something she's been ignoring for longer than she wants to admit. You didn't need to destroy me to get my attention, Sungjae. Her voice is quiet now. Deadly quiet. You already had it. He freezes. What? You think I stayed 3 years for the salary? You think I worked late, learned Korean, Memorized your schedule down to the minute because it was just a job? She laughs again, softer this time, sadder. I haven't been on a real date in 2 years. Do you know why? Because every man I meet, I compare to you, and they all lose. The confession hangs between them like a live wire. Sungjae takes another step forward, close enough now that she can see his chest rising and falling, can smell his cologne mixed with exhaustion. Martha. But you didn't trust me enough to just tell me, she cuts him off. You played games, like I was something to be tested, something to be controlled. I didn't know how else. You could have tried honesty. His hand reaches for hers, slowly, carefully, like she's something fragile he's afraid of breaking. I'm trying now. Martha looks down at his hand hovering near hers. She should pull away. She should walk out that door and never look back. She should... The office door slams open. Min-jae stands in the doorway, phone in hand, face pale. Hyung, we have a problem. Sungjae doesn't look away from Martha. Not now. Now? Min-jae's voice is urgent, sharp. It's about the Busan deal. They know, and they know about her. The temperature in the room drops 20 degrees. Sungjae finally turns. What did you just say? Min-jae looks at Martha, then back at his brother. They have her picture, her address, her flight records back to Atlanta last month. They're saying if you don't show up to the meeting tonight, alone, they'll... He stops, swallows hard. They'll send someone to visit her instead. Martha's blood turns to ice. Sungjae's face goes blank. Not angry, not scared, blank, which is somehow worse. Get out. Hyung, get out. Min-jae leaves. The door clicks shut. Sungjae turns back to Martha, and for the first time since she's known him, she sees something she never thought she'd see in those eyes. Fear. Martha. His voice is steady, but his hands aren't. You need to leave Seoul, tonight. What are you? They don't make threats. They make examples. He's already moving, grabbing his phone, texting someone. I'll have someone take you to the airport. You'll go back to Atlanta. I'm not running. He stops, looks at her like she's lost her mind. This isn't a game anymore. Then stop treating me like a piece on the board. Martha's voice is steel now. You want honesty? Here's honesty. I'm not leaving you to face this alone. They'll kill you. Then we'd better make sure they don't. Sungjae stares at her. And despite everything, the danger, the threats, the absolute insanity of what's happening, something shifts in his eyes. Something that looks almost like... You're either the bravest woman I've ever met, he says quietly, or the most foolish. Maybe both. Martha picks up her bag, looks him dead in the eye. So what's the plan? Outside the window, Seoul is waking up. The sun is rising. And somewhere in this city, someone is planning violence. But inside this office, for the first time in 3 years, Martha and Sungjae are finally on the same side. And God help anyone who gets in their way. Martha doesn't go home that night. She can't. Her hands are still shaking from the confrontation, from throwing those words at Sungjae like grenades. I know this was a game. I quit. She expects him to let her walk. That's what men like him do when you call their bluff. They let you leave and pretend they never cared. But at 6:47 a.m., when she walks into the office to clean out her desk before anyone else arrives, he's already there, sitting in the dark, in her chair. You're early, she says, because what else do you say to a man who looks like he hasn't slept in 3 days? I never left. His voice is rough, scraped raw. I've been sitting here since you walked out yesterday. Martha's heart does this stupid thing where it lurches toward him before her brain catches up. No, she's not doing this. She came here for her things, not for whatever breakdown he's having. You need to move. I have files to... I lied to you. She stops, her hand frozen on the desk drawer. About Min-jae, about the restructuring, about all of it. Sung-jae stands. And God, he looks wrecked. His tie is gone. His shirt is wrinkled. This is a man who irons his boxer shorts, and right now he looks like he's been through a war. I brought him in to make you jealous, to make you feel what I've been feeling every single day for 2 years. 2 years. Martha's throat closes. What are you talking about? The night you corrected my English in front of the board. He laughs, but it's bitter, broken. You looked at me like I was just another man making a mistake, not the boss, not someone to fear, just someone who got a word wrong, and I wanted to fire you on the spot for the disrespect. But then you smiled, just a little, like you were trying not to, and I forgot what the hell we were even talking about. She remembers that night. She'd been terrified afterward, certain she'd crossed a line. But he'd never said a word about it. I told myself it was nothing, Sung-jae continues, stepping closer. That it would pass, that I just needed to keep my distance, and eventually, you'd be like everyone else. Useful, replaceable, forgettable. But you're not. You're the first person I think about when I wake up, the last voice I want to hear before I make a decision. The only one who walks into my office during a meeting, and I don't want to kill for the interruption. Martha's back hits the wall. She didn't realize she was retreating. Stop. I can't. His hand comes up, not touching her, just hovering near her face like he's afraid she'll shatter. I saw you with him, Martha. In that restaurant, smiling at some man who doesn't know you drink your coffee black with 1 sugar. Who doesn't know you tap your pen 3 times before you write? Who doesn't know you hum when you're concentrating? And I lost my mind. So you tortured me? Her voice cracks. You made me feel invisible? Replaceable? You let me think I was nothing to you? Because you're everything! The words explode out of him, loud and desperate and so raw it physically hurts to hear. And I don't know how to do this. My father taught me to control or be controlled. To take what I want or lose it to someone stronger. I don't know how to just want someone without owning them, without breaking them. Silence, heavy and suffocating. Martha should leave, should walk out right now and never look back. But her mouth opens and the truth spills out before she can stop it. I haven't been on a real date in 2 years. Sung-jae goes completely still. That man in the restaurant? She laughs. And it sounds as broken as his did. I met him at a coffee shop. He seemed nice, normal, safe, and the entire time he was talking, all I could think was that he wasn't you, that his voice was wrong, that he laughed too much, that when he touched my hand I wanted to pull away because it didn't feel like… She stops, pressing her palms against her eyes. God, I sound insane. You sound like me. When she looks up, he's right there, close enough that she can see the shadows under his eyes, the tension in his jaw, the way his hands are clenched into fists, like he's physically holding himself back from reaching for her. I'm scared of you, Martha whispers. Not because of what you do, but because of what you make me feel, like I could lose myself completely and not even care. I'm scared of you, Sung-jae says back. Because you already have all of me, and you don't even know it. The space between them is electric, dangerous, impossible. This is the moment, the point of no return. Martha knows if she closes this distance, everything changes. Her carefully controlled life, her boundaries, her safety. She's about to step forward, about to do the terrifying, stupid, reckless thing. When Sung-jae's phone shatters the silence, he ignores it. It rings again and again. Answer it, Martha breathes. He pulls it out, glances at the screen, and every drop of color drains from his face. What? What is it? Sung-jae's hand starts to shake. When he looks at her, there's something in his eyes Martha's never seen before. Pure, primal fear. We need to leave, right now. Why? What's… They know about you, Martha. His voice is dead calm. the kind of calm that comes before violence. My enemies, they know. And somewhere in the building, 3 floors down, an elevator starts rising toward them with 4 men inside who aren't there to talk. For 3 weeks, they pretend normal is possible. Dinners in private rooms where nobody knows their names. His penthouse at midnight with the city lights bleeding through the windows. Martha learns what his real laugh sounds like, not the cold boardroom version, but the one that comes from his chest when she tells him stories about her grandmother in Atlanta. He learns she talks in her sleep. Random things, grocery lists, song lyrics. One time she said, "Pickles don't belong on pizza," and he laughed so hard she woke up. It's perfect. And terrifying, because they both know it can't last. "We should tell people," Martha says one night. His shirt hanging off her shoulders, bare feet on cold marble. Sungjae's arms pull her closer. "Not yet." "When?" "When I'm out. Really out." He says it quiet, like he's testing the words. "I've been selling things, cutting ties. 6 months, maybe less." Martha twists to look at him. "You're serious? You think I'm joking?" His hand cups her jaw. "I'd burn the whole damn city down if it meant keeping you." She believes him. That's the problem. She believes every word. The dinner wasn't supposed to be dangerous. Mr. Choi, some business partner Sungjae's known for years, wanted to meet over steak and wine. Neutral ground, public place. Half of Seoul's elite would be in the same restaurant. What could go wrong? But Martha feels it the moment they walk in. Something off. The way the hostess avoids eye contact. The way their private room is too far from the exits. The way Mr. Choi smiles with his mouth but not his eyes. "Relax," Sungjae whispers, his hand at the small of her back. 1 hour. Then we disappear for the weekend. She tries. She really does. Smiles at Mr. Choi's small talk. Nods at the business discussion she doesn't fully follow. Sips wine that probably costs more than her first car. Then Sungjae goes completely still. Not the normal kind of still, the predator kind, the kind that makes her stomach drop. "Martha," his voice is too calm. "When I move, you hit the floor." "What?" The window explodes, not shatters, explodes. Glass raining down like violent snow. Martha's brain hasn't caught up yet, still trying to process why the pretty window just turned into 1,000 knives. When the second shot punches through the wall behind Sungjae's head, everything fractures into chaos. Sungjae lunging across the table. Mr. Choi, that smiling bastard, already gone, diving through a side door that wasn't there before. Men in black flooding in from everywhere and nowhere, screaming, shouting, the thick smell of gunpowder. Martha sees the gun before Sungjae does. A man, young, can't be more than 25. Eyes dead and focused and the barrel pointed straight at Sungjae's chest, while he's reaching for her, while he's vulnerable, while he's... She doesn't think, just moves. Her body between his and the bullet feels like the only logical thing in the universe. The impact doesn't hurt at first, just pressure, like someone punched her shoulder with a hot fist. Then her legs stop working and she's falling and Sungjae catches her and oh, that's blood, a lot of blood. Is that all hers? No, Martha, no, no, no. His hands press against her shoulder and now the pain arrives, white hot and screaming, and she can't breathe, can't think, can't... "I'm fine," she hears herself say, which is stupid. She's very clearly not fine. Gunshots pop like firecrackers, Sungjae's men pouring in from somewhere, yelling in Korean, too fast for her to follow. But all she can see is his face above hers, completely shattered, tears cutting through the blood spatter on his cheeks. "Don't you dare," he's saying over and over. "Don't you dare leave me." "Not planning on it," Martha whispers. Then everything goes soft at the edges. She wakes up in pieces. White ceiling, beeping machines, chemical smell, hospital. The surgery already happened. She missed it. And her shoulder is on fire but distant, like it's happening to someone else. Sungjae is in the chair beside her bed. He hasn't changed. There's still blood on his shirt, her blood, dried dark and stiff. His hair is a mess, eyes red-rimmed. He looks like he's aged 10 years. "Hey," Martha croaks. His head snaps up, and the look on his face, like he can't believe she's real, like he's seeing a ghost come back to life, breaks something in her chest. Then he's on his knees beside the bed, forehead pressed to her hand, whole body shaking. "I'm sorry." His voice is wrecked. "God, Martha, I'm so—" "Stop." She squeezes his fingers with her good hand. "Not your fault. It's completely my fault." He looks up and his eyes are destroyed. "This is what I bring you. Bullets and blood and men who want to hurt me. You took a shot meant for my chest. Yeah, and I'd do it again." "I know." He closes his eyes. "That's why you can't stay." The room tilts. "What?" "I'm sending you home, Atlanta, tomorrow. There'll be security, money, everything you need." His voice is flat now. Dead. The wall going back up in real time. "But you can't be near me anymore." "You don't get to decide that." "Yes, I do." He stands, puts distance between them. "Mr. Choi sold us out. He's been working with the Jung family for months. This was a message, Martha. They missed me, hit you instead. And next time?" His jaw locks. "There won't be a next time, because you won't be here. Sungjae, the car comes at noon tomorrow. Don't argue. Don't contact me. Just go live the normal life you wanted before I ruined everything." He's at the door when she says it. "I'll wait." He freezes, doesn't turn around. "However long it takes, 6 months, 6 years, I don't care." Her voice shakes but doesn't break. "I'll wait for you, because nobody else is you. Nobody else will ever be you." His hand grips the doorframe, knuckles white, shoulders dropping like she just put a knife between his ribs. Then he walks out. And Martha lies there in a hospital bed, bullet wound throbbing, heart completely shattered, knowing she just lost the only man she'll ever love. What she doesn't know yet, what Sungjae couldn't bring himself to say, is that the Young family isn't finished. The bullet was just the opening move. And the real message? That's coming tomorrow. The safe house is a lie. That's the first thing Martha realizes when she wakes up in the sterile apartment with bars on the windows that Sungjae calls security measures. She's been here for 3 days. 3 days of him visiting for exactly 47 minutes each evening, standing by the door like he's afraid to get too close, asking if she needs anything while his eyes scream everything he won't say. On the 4th day, he doesn't come at all. On the 5th day, he sends Minjae with groceries and an envelope. Martha doesn't open the envelope. She throws it at Minjae's head. Where is he? Cleaning up. Minjae sets the groceries down carefully, deliberately not meeting her eyes, making sure what happened at the gala doesn't happen again. You mean he's killing people? Minjae's silence is answer enough. Tell him I want to see him. Today. Or I walk out of here and he'll never find me again. She means it. Minjae must see it in her face because he nods and leaves without the usual pleasantries. Sungjae shows up 2 hours later. He looks like death. Pale, thinner, with bruises on his knuckles that are fresh enough to still be purple. He stands in the doorway and says the words she's been dreading. I'm sending you to Boston. New identity, new life. You'll be safe there. Martha laughs. Actually laughs. No. It's not a negotiation. You're right. It's not. She stands, crosses the room until she's close enough to see the exhaustion carved into every line of his face. Because I'm not going. Martha, do you know what the worst part of these 5 days has been? Her voice is steady even though her hands are shaking. It's not the bars on the windows. It's not the armed guards. It's not even the nightmares about the gala. It's you, standing there, making decisions about my life like I'm a problem to be solved instead of a person who gets a say. Sungjae's jaw tightens. I'm trying to keep you alive. By locking me away? By shipping me off to another country while you stay here and do what? Get yourself killed cleaning up a mess that was always going to exist? She steps closer. He steps back. You told me you were scared because I have all of you. Well, guess what? It goes both ways. And I refuse to spend the rest of my life wondering if today's the day someone puts a bullet in you. Then you understand why you need to leave. No. Martha's voice drops, turns cold. I understand why you need to leave. The words land like a slap. Sungjae stares at her, genuinely speechless for maybe the first time since she's known him. You want to keep me safe? Martha presses. Then get out. Not out of this room, out of the life, the organization, the violence, all of it, really out. Martha, it's not that simple. Yes, it is. She cuts him off, her voice shaking now but fierce. You told me your father taught you to control or be controlled, that you don't know how to want something without owning it. Well, here's your chance to learn. Choose me. Not someday when it's convenient. Not after one more deal or one more cleanup. Now, today, or lose me forever. Sungjae looks at her like she's just asked him to cut off his own arm. You don't know what you're asking. These aren't people you just walk away from. There are blood debts, alliances. My family will survive without you. Martha's eyes burn, but she refuses to cry. The question is, can I? Can you? Because I'll tell you right now, I'd rather risk dying with you than spend 50 years safe and alone, wondering what we could have been. That's insane. That's love, you idiot. The words crack open something in her chest. And if you're too much of a coward to fight for it, then you're right. I should go to Boston. I should find some nice normal man who comes home at normal hours and doesn't have blood on his hands. Someone boring, someone safe, someone who isn't you. She watches the words hit him, watches him flinch like she struck him. But I don't want that, Martha whispers. I want the man who remembers how I take my coffee, who hasn't slept in 5 days because he's terrified something will happen to me. Who stood in my office and told me he hasn't known peace in 2 years. I want you, Sungjae, just you. Not your empire, not your power, not your protection, just the man underneath all of it. The silence stretches. Sungjae's hands are shaking. She's never seen him shake before. If I do this, he finally says, voice barely above a whisper. If I walk away from everything, it could take months, maybe a year. There are things I'd have to dismantle, people I'd have to pay off, or... He stops, swallows hard. And there's no guarantee. They might come after us anyway. After you. For revenge. I know. You could die because of me. I could die crossing the street tomorrow. Martha reaches out, takes his face in her hands, forces him to look at her. I could die alone in Boston, safe and miserable, wishing I'd been brave enough to choose this. At least this way, I choose you. We choose each other, and we fight like hell to make it work. Sungjae closes his eyes. When he opens them again, they're wet. You're asking me to burn down everything I've ever built. I'm asking you to build something new. With me. For a long moment, he doesn't move, doesn't speak. Martha's heart is hammering so hard she can feel it in her throat. This is it, the moment. He either chooses her or he doesn't. Then Sungjae pulls out his phone and makes a call. 3 words. Set the meeting. He hangs up. Looks at Martha with something that might be terror or might be hope. I need 8 months, he says quietly. 8 months to extract myself without getting us both killed. Can you give me that? Martha should say yes, should be grateful, should... No. His eyes widen. You get 6, she says firmly. And I'm not staying in this safe house. I'm going back to Atlanta, to my family. And you're going to call me every single day and prove you're serious. Miss one call and I'm done. Understand? A smile ghosts across his face. Small, tired, real. You're terrifying. I learned from the best. She kisses him then, quick, fierce, a promise and a threat all at once. 6 months, Sungjae. Don't make me regret this. He kisses her back, slower, like he's trying to memorize the taste of her. When he pulls away, there's something new in his eyes, something that looks almost like freedom. I won't. Martha wants to believe him. She does. But as he leaves, as she watches him walk out that door to start dismantling an empire, she can't shake the cold feeling crawling up her spine. Because neither of them knows that in a basement across town, Sungjae's father is watching security footage of this exact conversation, and he's smiling. The thing nobody tells you about happy endings is that they're supposed to be boring. Martha Stanley is standing in aisle 7 of a Stop and Shop in Brookline, Massachusetts, holding 2 cartons of milk and genuinely annoyed. Not terrified, not running for her life, not wondering if the man she loves is going to get them both killed. Just annoyed about dairy products. It's the most beautiful feeling in the world. Oat milk is not real milk, she says for the 3rd time. Sungjae, who 8 months ago could end a man's entire existence with a phone call, is currently reading the nutrition label like it personally offended him. It has more calcium than regular milk, it says so right here. It's flavored water. Sungjae. It's a sustainable alternative. You grew up drinking regular milk. In Korea, we didn't drink milk like Americans do. Oh, don't give me the "in Korea" speech right now. Martha snatches the oat milk from his hands and puts both cartons in the cart. We're getting both. You can drink your fancy plant water, and I'll drink actual milk like God intended. An elderly woman passes them, smiling at their bickering. Just another couple arguing about groceries. She has no idea that 6 months ago, Sungjae walked away from a criminal empire that spanned 3 countries. That 4 months ago, he started seeing Dr. Patricia Chen every Tuesday and Thursday to unlearn 34 years of violence and control. That 2 months ago, he moved into a 1-bedroom apartment in Boston with furniture from IKEA that he assembled himself, badly, while Martha watched from Seoul via video call, refusing to come until he proved this was real. She made him wait, made him send her photos of therapy homework, made him get a legitimate job. He's consulting for a tech startup now, completely legal, completely boring. Made him learn how to exist in the world like a normal person who doesn't solve problems with money and threats. And then, 3 weeks ago, she showed up at Boston Logan with 2 suitcases and said, "I'm giving you 6 months. Mess it up, and I'm gone." He'd cried. Right there in Arrivals, in front of everyone. The man who once stared down a room full of armed rivals without blinking had tears running down his face in a damn airport. "You're thinking about something," Sungjae says now, pulling her back to the present. The fluorescent lights, the muzak, the perfectly mundane miracle of grocery shopping. "I'm thinking you cry at airports," Martha says, because she can tease him now. That's new too. In Seoul, she'd measured every word, weighed every response. Here, she can just be. "I wasn't crying. I had allergies." "You were sobbing." Emotional response to seasonal pollen. She laughs, and it echoes down the aisle, and Sungjae looks at her like she's the most incredible thing he's ever seen. He does that now, just stops and stares at her like he's memorizing the moment. Dr. Chen says it's because he spent so long believing he couldn't have this, that now that he does, he's terrified it'll disappear. Martha gets it. She still wakes up sometimes expecting to find him gone, back to Seoul, back to the life he knew, but then she rolls over and he's there, reading a book or watching her sleep, which should be creepy, but somehow isn't. And he's real. "What else do we need?" Sungjae asks, consulting the list on his phone. He's methodical about everything now. Therapy taught him that structure helps when you're rebuilding yourself from scratch. Eggs, bread, something green so we don't get scurvy. Scurvy is caused by vitamin C deficiency, not lack of vegetables. Sungjae, I swear. Her phone buzzes. A message from her sister in Atlanta. How's Boston? How's he doing? You safe? Everyone still asks if she's safe. Like Sungjae's going to snap one day and turn back into the man he was. But Martha knows something they don't. That man, the feared, untouchable one, he's not gone. He's still in there. She sees him sometimes when someone bumps into her too hard on the tee or when a guy at the gym gets too friendly. There's this flash, this moment where the old Sungjae surfaces, all cold fury and controlled violence. But then he breathes, counts to 5 like Dr. Chen taught him, and he lets it go. That's the difference, not that he's not dangerous, but that he chooses not to be. I'm safe, Martha texts back. We're good. They finish shopping. Sungjae insists on carrying all the bags even though they have a cart, because some things are hardwired too deep to therapy out. Martha lets him. Pick your battles. Outside, the October air is crisp and cold and smells like fallen leaves. The apartment is 6 blocks away. They could drive, but they walk instead. And Sungjae reaches for her hand without asking, and she lets him take it. Hey, Martha says, as they wait for a light to change. You know what I realized? What? This is the longest I've ever seen you in jeans. He looks down at himself like he forgot what he was wearing. In Seoul, it was suits, always suits. Here, it's jeans and sweaters and sneakers that he had to Google how to buy. Is that bad? No. She squeezes his hand. It's perfect. The light changes. They cross. 2 people carrying groceries, arguing about milk, planning what to make for dinner. Ordinary, domestic, beautifully, impossibly boring. And for the first time in 3 years, Martha Stanley isn't waiting for the other shoe to drop. She's just living. Sungjae looks at her as they reach their building. What are you smiling about? Nothing, she lies. But the truth is this, she's smiling because she chose him, not once, in some grand dramatic moment when bullets were flying and emotions were high, but every single day, in 1,000 tiny, boring ways, and he's choosing her back. That's the real happy ending. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.